Opposed? Carried.
And then the statement part, that was a little bit of a caveat that I put in there. Currently, it's used infrequently when someone has a very important point or they feel something needs to be corrected or whatever. But you're right, it can be misused, and especially in an election year. As you all know, I'll just do my little election hat now. You can't campaign until you have filed, and you can't file until January 1st, 2014. But you're absolutely correct.
Good luck with that.
Well, that's my job. But most of the time, if people have something they want to bring up, they do it as a notice of motion, so it is in your agenda, so at least you do have a little bit of a heads up on what's coming. So I'm not sure if you could just do an agreement that this would not be used unless there is something really.
So I make some statements after the meeting that there was disruption and Councillor Scott wanted an OPP here, and I make the statement, let's have some respect and we shouldn't have to do that and please behave yourself. Is that a statement that goes into the minutes? Councillor Russell.
Yeah, and I think we've got to realize that, without the comment that was made earlier about, first among equal, you are the mayor, and you and your deputy, when you're not here, you have certain things that you're delegated to you through the municipal act, and one of those things is to run this place. So if you anytime decide you want to make a statement, there's nobody here can challenge you making the statement. You are the chair. In your absence, the chair. We don't. That's the chair is that's the role it's given, and I think we have to respect that. But us jokers, we're a different matter because it goes back to what Carol said. And I think we have to make sure that whatever we do in terms of bringing things to the table, it either has to be under personal privilege because somebody insulted you, or it's because you're bringing a report and it should be brought in well, remember Carol a couple months ago, she tried to clarify notice of motion, for example. We want to make sure that each of these things, whether we absent them or we include them, they're done in the appropriate order beforehand. In other words, if I go back to Doug using that was a statement and that was cool and he did his thing and entered in. But say I've got a report and I went to a training session and I've got a report, right? Well, I can table that report. It can go into the next agenda. You know what I mean? As part of the agenda. It doesn't have to go into the minutes per se. And it's using the process appropriately instead of adding to.
I would just like to clarify what you've said, because just so we get it right, you do, as the chair of the meeting, because it is incumbent upon you to run efficient and effective meetings. I do agree that at the start of the meeting, you have the right to say, this meeting will be run in an efficient, effective way. This is when public discussion is. I don't agree that because he's the chair, he gets to make statements.
Oh, no, I apologize, I'll clarify.
In terms of managing the meeting, yes, you can make statements.
Okay.
In terms of managing the meeting at any time you want. Absolutely.
I think why this come up was because of the statement that I made a couple meetings ago on a point of personal privilege, that it was my integrity was questioned. That's why I brought it up. That's why I asked for the statement to be put in the minutes. Something that shouldn't have to happen. That happened because there was an amendment made to the actual minutes that put in a comment that I was not happy with. So that was clarification for
I
that.
think we've all been called corrupt, so.
Well, but that's...
I haven't made a statement to that yet, so.
That's the reason. If the minutes are without note or comment,
Then
we're
good to
your
go.
statements is reduced.
statements should be reduced.
Absolutely.
Deputy Mayor Day.
Yes, but I guess the point is that then I made a point of personal privilege because I felt that you were reflecting on me and my attempt to make an amendment, but that was my point of personal privilege, and I had my statement, so it should have been included in the minutes too, because it was a point of personal privilege.
I never mentioned a name or an individual council member.
Because I made the amendment, so you were reflecting, I made the motion of the amendment, right?
No.
So.
Okay,
If
let's move on.
I could, it was always written statements that we put in. People would actually hand them to us after they made their statement, and that's what we include, because that's the only way we can guarantee that we
Oh,
get it.
I could type it out here, and it'd be written,
Anyway,
just like this here.
Good.
it should be to a minimum. I'd like to move past this. Let's carry on.
Could we say, Mayor, that in terms of making statements, I think Councillor Underwood has hit it. There is a spot in the council reports, maybe it's councillor statements, no, I don't know. But that is the section, unless it's on a point of order or a point of personal privilege, I think that's where it belongs, if it's something to do with an issue or whatever.
Okay. We
You want to vote on B?
It's up to you,
On
yes, if you
statements.
want just this,
I'll move that statements, personal statements are only made under council reports unless it's a statement made by the chair regarding the efficiency and effectiveness of the conducting of the meeting.
Or a point of personal
Or a
privilege.
point of
But
personal
it's
privilege.
everyone that way.
Yeah.
Seconder for that, Councillor Underwood. All in favor of that? Carried. Question?
Yes.
Okay, question first, it wasn't carried, no?
But it doesn't refer to councillor chats.
No.
Exactly. So that's where we go back to, we have a place to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But you just call it councilor forum.
Discussions, emotions, amendment more than once, we've talked about that.
and sometimes I find it hard to follow, especially everybody's got some ideas, and it is a sort of a backward situation whereby you put forth a motion first, discuss it, and then everybody has some input and change in their own good points that maybe should be changed, should be included. However, it does get confusing when you're writing it down, then, no, I'm moving this, and I'm moving that, and then seconding it, and it can get a little confusing, because we do want to capture exactly what you were asking us to do, especially when someone not at the meeting will need to follow these. It may involve expending money or spending staff time, so we really want to get it right, so.
I'll move C.
Okay,
I think it makes sense.
excellent.
I'll move C. You need a second.
Okay, so that's the highlighted spot.
Yeah,
basically.
highlighted spot.
Okay,
Agreed.
item, all in favor of that, then?
Did we
Good.
get a second? Did we get a second? Yeah.
Underwood, Councillor Underwood, second.
And we appreciate that, and or, thank you.
Give him something.
Item D is about posting the minutes, we've got 3 minutes left here.
Yeah, we can be fast. Basically, we can post them online as soon as they're done, however, they're draft minutes, and there's always the fear that council hasn't maybe approved the wording, so if we go with our current process, the minutes will only be posted after the next council meeting where they're
They're
approved.
approved.
No, we gotta keep that.
I'll
Okay.
move D.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll
The
second.
highlighted part in D.
No,
Okay.
No,
that's,
I'm
that's,
sorry.
no.
I'm
So
moving-
no.
I'm
No.
saying no,
No,
keep
no,
the
no.
current practice.
Keep the current
Can't
practice,
have a
minutes,
motion of no.
only approved minutes will be posted on the website.
Perfect.
Seconded
So as
by
long as everybody,
Councilman Gray.
okay, so as long as everybody understands that when a resident comes to you and says, gee, I didn't get the minutes, you can say, well, maybe because they haven't been approved.
Only approved minutes posted on the website.
And the next one is kind of,
Sorry on that one. We didn't actually call a vote. We didn't call a vote, we just had the first and second. My question is that sometimes we do hear that it does take a while for the minutes to get posted. So if it is possible to have it out within a month, that would be really wonderful.
yeah, the time when it takes longer is say in June or July, say you've only got one meeting, if you have it July 1st, your next meeting isn't until August 8th, so it would take a month in that case, so. We try as best we can unless something comes up. Sometimes when there's 3 meetings, you've got a Monday meeting, then a Tuesday meeting, then a Monday meeting, it's a little bit more difficult to get all the work done, because you're trying to do minutes and doing an agenda, and those 3 weeks are
This should
pretty
help,
busy.
right?
This
should
will help, yeah,
not just
absolutely.
without note or comment.
Yep.
should really help.
Should really help us
Okay.
speed us up, but still, it won't be until the next council
Oh,
meeting.
no, a month is fine.
Okay,
The next one we can do pretty quickly.
meeting time?
Meeting times. We talked about strategic plans, a couple times it's been bumped because other issues, let's say the fire marshal today, very important issues. However, and then you could maybe spend an hour on strat planning, which really isn't enough time. One option that we've thought of, rather than getting another meeting where it's so hard with you folks when you're so busy, is maybe if we went from 4 to 6, 7 to 10, you could have your closed session in there. Again, I noted in there how sometimes closed session's 5 minutes, sometimes it's, it needs to be an hour. People come at 6:15, but then they're told they have to leave till 7, so it would help with time management, I think, for both you and for the residents, that they know when, at 7 o'clock, that that's the meeting. So that's just an option that we thought might help you be a bit more strategic and operate efficiently and effectively.
Speech included?
No, if it says 7 till 9. If we're gone at 9,
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh.
well,
Yeah, right.
well, we're 7 till 10 now, and we're not done at 11, so it should move it ahead if we do an hour before. Councillor Russell?
I like this, I've been talking to Carol about changing the meetings for about 6 months, and it always goes back to, but the one thing that's been bothering me is strategic planning. This is the 5th report we've had since September that said we can't seem to get strategic planning onto our agenda.
Yep.
That seems to be, it's sort of like that new direction question a couple of weeks ago that was in